seems to work anytime. That turns on maximum cooling and maximum fan, which is basically like a fourth level of this one and a third level of this one, but they just have it all in one button. In fact, I think if you're off, you can actually go right into the turbo, like that. Well, I guess that's pretty cool. Over here is the light button, but that doesn't work unless it's on, so let's turn this on. The colors are teal, red, white, blue, purple, yellow. Is that yellow? That is not yellow. Green. And this is supposedly color cycle mode, which will go through all of them, and there's no yellow. I don't care what they say, there's no yellow. Now, if you hold down the button, supposedly it changes in brightness from bright to dim, and nothing is happening. Let me pick a solid color here. Let me hold this down. And it did get dimmer. It's dimmer. All the way off and then back to bright. All right, so it works. It works. Now, I have this running off the battery right now, but you can run it while plugged in, which I'm going to do. Just to be fair, when I compare it to our old friend, the Arctic Air Ultra, which looks kind of familiar. I believe this is the second in line of several Arctic Airs, one of which they stole my photo from my video.
Holy fuck, that took forever.
Here is what that stolen moment looks like. Compared to their ad, they say it's supposed to take 3 minutes for the water to absorb into the filter, so let me give it a couple minutes, and then I'll see how cool it feels. Alright, so I'm going to compare it to the Arctic Air Ultra. This is the one that I kind of like the most. I also like the Arctic Air Pure Chill, but you don't really see that many anymore, so this is the one I think I'm going to compare it to. Now, if you look inside the unit, it's basically just a cheap computer fan. That's all it really is. I looked up similar models online for about $5, and to be fair, the Arctic Air Ultra is also just a cheap fan. Something else kind of weird about this product. When you open it up to fill it, you're really just pouring the water right past the fan down there. Like it's just all open in there. You just pour the water right almost onto the fan. That doesn't seem very safe. At least the Arctic Air Ultra, you have a reservoir. There is a reservoir here, but the fan is not protected. I can reach in and touch the fan. That's just very strange. And there is a max fill line right here in the front. So that's something to point out. I believe these are misting jets. I'm not totally sure, but we will find out about that soon enough. It does look like they're misting jets, we shall see. Also, under the lid is something that's not in the instructions. It says you can add ice. It says add a few cubes inside as shown. They'll drop it in the tank. It's the super cute, cool the water. Only a few cubes are needed. Now, both the Arctic Air Ultra and the Chillwell 2.0 have filters that they say you can freeze for maximum cooling. I put both of mine on the freezer, so they should be maximum cold right now. So I'm going to load these up with their filters. I'm going to fill them up with water and add a few cubes of ice. We're going to do some comparisons. The old school Arctic Air Ultra and the supposedly new school Chillwell, which was $90. Let's get started. Now, comparing the filters for these two, look how much bigger the Arctic Air Ultra filter is. It's like 3 times the width. So are you going to get 3 times the cooling? We shall see about that. But let's load
Probably not.
I'm adding about 10 cubes.
I have this thing. Hey, I have this thing.
Drop it in there.
Let's see what he thinks of it.
To the Arctic Air Ultra. Filling the Chillwell.
It literally makes no difference which one it is.
Okay, on the fan there. Alright, we're at the max fill line. Filling the Arctic Air Ultra, which is way easier to fill. You're right there instead of trying to fill it over a fan. They hold about the same amount of water. Load them both up. Next up, inserting the filters. First up, Chillwell filter. The Arctic Air filter goes in the front like this.
That has a filter? I don't know if mine has a filter.
Units are locked and loaded. We have a frozen filter. We've got ice water in there. We are good to go. Let's turn these both on real quick here. Arctic Air Ultra on high. It doesn't have a turbo mode, but it does have 3 levels. My first observation is there is a mist from the Chillwell, and there is not a mist from the Arctic Air Ultra. So they do have a misting function, which I guess is kind of nice. Let's hit this. That's on max.
Is it ever nice?
There's the turbo. Turbo is off. That's low, and that's off. So this is the misting function. They say cooling function. It's really misting function. I'm gonna let this go for a second. Then we're gonna check the thermal imager and see which one's colder. I'm gonna put the Chillwell on turbo mode, and we'll see what's really going on underneath the hood here. Arctic Air on the left. Chillwell on the right. Clearly the Arctic Air is colder. Look at that. Arctic Air is coming out around 57 degrees. Coldest part of the Chillwell I'm seeing in the 70s. It's way colder. The Arctic Air is way colder. Maybe the fact that it has a much bigger filter. They were both frozen. They both had ice cubes. Maybe it'll take longer. Let me let it sit for a while and see if the Chillwell catches up. Chillwell's on turbo, so it's supposed to be maximum cold right now, but the regular Arctic Air and regular high is doing better. I'm gonna let this sit for about 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll come back and check. Alright, after a few minutes, it looks like the Chillwell is getting cooler. It still hasn't nearly caught up with the old school Arctic Air Ultra. Looks like we're down to the mid-60s Whereas the Arctic Air, still low 50s. It's even still getting colder while the chill well is cooling off a little bit more too. It's still almost 15 degrees colder. Keeping in mind we're on turbo for the chill well and high for the Arctic Air Ultra. Let's see how much air is moving out of these now. I'm getting a 9.2. A 9.2 from the chill well. Arctic Air Ultra, what can we get out of this one? I'm getting a 7.8. So the chill well does blow stronger, but it doesn't blow as cold. I guess it's a trade-off. It also has that misting function, so I guess maybe in a best case scenario, it's about even. Let me try it myself and see how it feels to me without using all these fancy measurements. Arctic Air on this side, chill well on this side. The chill well on this side feels stronger than the Arctic Air this side. The mist, when it hits me, actually feels a little bit cooler than the Arctic Air, although I think overall the Arctic Air is colder. If you look at just where the mist is coming out, if you look at that specific spot
ODDER.
the mist is coming out, it seems to be varying anywhere to low 60s. It feels really nice when you're right on top of it, like literally point blank. When you move a couple feet away, the mist is almost completely gone. I still fail to see why this is $90 versus much cheaper models you can find pretty much everywhere that have been around for close to a decade. Thank you, Arctic Air Ultra, for your service. Let's try the battery test now. They say it can run, how long did they say it can run? It said 2.5 hours on high. They didn't say how long it's going to work on turbo. They did not say how long it's going to last on turbo. So what I'm going to do is make sure this is top completely off, and then I'm going to turn it on and see how long it lasts. In turbo mode, one thing that the
Exclamation mark X Rampy.
don't feature is the fact that it's rechargeable. A lot of them have to be plugged in. So, I mean, that is one nice feature about it. And the misting function's kind of nice too. But let me make sure this is completely charged up, see how long this lasts on turbo mode. Current temperature is 84 degrees here in Las Vegas, and I'm in direct sunlight. And it's kind of warm out here. Not much breeze either. Good thing I have my chill well, which stole my picture for their advertising. Let's put it on turbo mode and see what we got. Now there's the mist. I feel it. I actually feel it. I'm going to give them credit for that. While I'm enjoying this cool mist breeze from the chill well, let me tell you about my results from yesterday. So I charged it all the way up. Make sure
Exclamation mark X aware.
Filled the water to the max fill line, and I started on turbo mode, and it lasted just over an hour. I noticed that right before the hour was up, it was kind of pulsating. That light was kind of giving you guys an indicator that it's almost done. In fact, it turned off. I turned it back on, it lasted a few more minutes, and it turned off again. So, an hour on turbo mode. They say 2.5 hours on high, you get an hour on turbo. Then this morning I charged it up, and it took just under 4 hours to charge. So if you're going to run on turbo, you're going to get a 4-hour charge time, 1 hour of use, as long as you don't plug it in. It can run while plugged in, but they're tied in as a battery-operated unit, and so that's what you get. Right now, a few feet away, I do feel it. It doesn't feel bad. I feel the mist, kind of. If the breeze picks up at all, even just 1 or 2 miles an hour, it's going to blow that mist away. When it doesn't blow at all, I feel it pretty well. So just to point out, when you're outdoors, that mist goes about this far and then it dissipates. For the actual cool mist, I can feel coolness right there. I get this far away, I don't feel cool anymore. That mist just dissipates really quickly. So you almost have to have it right in your face for it to really work that well. Once again, it's an evaporative cooler. I mean, they call it an air conditioner, it's an evaporative cooler. I think air conditioner is a bit of a stretch. It's a fan with a mist. It's a misting fan. If you want to call it an air conditioner, go ahead, but I tend to disagree with what that really is. If you look at the thermal imager, you really barely even see that mist. It just completely dissipates. It's almost cool right where it comes out at, and then it completely dissipates. You don't even see it. And this is, you see a little bit, just a little tiny bit. This is on turbo. This is the highest level. It only goes downhill from there. That mist definitely dissipates quickly. So as I'm sitting here a couple feet away from this chill well, and I do feel the mist, let's talk about some of the pros and cons here. To me, this is a run-of-the-mill evaporative cooler. They're a dime a dozen. You can find a bunch of
Fucking idiot.
Amazon, and they all, in my opinion, work about the same. The misting
Exclamation mark X sprayed.
Oh no.
The battery feature is nice, but it also does a lot.
Exclamation mark
The
X
price is
sprays.
outrageous. I also didn't mention on the website when I ordered it. I got
Exclamation mark X grace.
Craze.
after another.
It was a
Ask
C.
if you wanna buy this,
Idiot.
or add on that. None of which I said yes to. But it's like the entire website experience just felt so spammy. It was just a spam fest. I needed abundance.
Exclamation mark X cable.
Spam. See how the breeze picked up?
Exclamation mark X audio.
It's pretty weak.
Exclamation mark X stern.
See, they want to sell you a bunch of them for like $250 or some outrageous thing like that. If you want my opinion, I say go on Amazon, find something similar for $30, and you'll probably be just as happy with it as this one. That's the reason why this has abysmal ratings on Amazon, because people know it's outrageously priced and delivers mediocre performance. Nothing about this to me says it's $90. Nothing about this to me says it's any better than the run-of-the-mill misting fan out there. And one quick note to the makers of Chillwell: fair use does not apply to advertising, so please don't steal my pictures again. I know it's just my hand, but that's not the product that I was reviewing. I did not review the Chillwell in that video, so you shouldn't be using it in your ads. Not only that.
That's funny.
Tucker Carlson makes this video 20 hours ago. When you discover the CIA has been reading your texts in order to frame you for a crime. 16 million views.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Let's take a look at it.
What happened?
Today I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report. The Department of Justice, on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war.
Talking to people in Iran before the war.
That's not a crime. That wasn't a crime.
Uh-oh.
Who were you talking to?
People? What
Wait,
were you talking
who? Yeah, who was he talking to? About what?
Now, I hear that, and I don't know, man. My common sense is tingling. It's telling me
My common sense is tingling.
why you're using these abstract terms and you're not being specific is exactly the reason that you're not using them. It's the exact reason that you imagine. So I don't know. Like, I'm obviously everybody. Like, I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm not saying he's guilty. But the way that you say that, like, I just makes me a little bit nervous, doesn't it?
They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the
So
foreign.
if they read your text messages, let me just take a step back. Assuming that this wasn't done extrajudicially, that would mean that they got a warrant for that, and they had a there was a data request that was approved by a judge, I believe. Now, I don't know if Homeland Security can bypass that. They probably can. But my understanding is that in order to read somebody's messages, you needed to have some sort of approval for it. But there's a good chance that the Patriot Act probably just says, no, actually, you can do whatever you want. So I'm not sure.
An agent act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power.
Acting like an agent of a foreign power, and in this case, it's Iran. Wow.
And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power. Unlike a lot of people commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States. And
He looks so scared.
acted against it. Its interests are the only interests I care about because I'm from here and I have a lot of kids.
Uh-oh.
He's so fucked.
I don't know. I don't know.
So that's not a concern. I've also never taken money from anybody. Don't
He's never taken money from anybody?
Haha.
Okay.
Never ever in his whole life.
need it, don't want it, and that's
I mean, like, the thing is that Tucker Carlson is the inheritor of the
Exclamation mark
right?
X spike.
So realistically,
Oh, is he
like,
Swanson?
This is like a multi-billion-dollar company. So, because he married into, like, I think his wife is like, from the Swanson family. So, like, realistically, he's actually right about this. Like, he should be like ridiculously rich, like insanely, like, hundreds of millions of dollars rich, if not billions.
it's provable.
No, his stepmom.
and-
His stepmom. Okay.
Moreover, it's my job to talk to everybody all the time and try and figure out
Exclamation mark X audio.
literally what I do for a living, and I'm not going to stop doing that. Nor should I.
Exclamation mark X cable.
I think.
I can talk to anybody. I have no secrets to divulge. So legally, I think the case is ludicrous, and I doubt it will even become a case. I'm bringing this up for a couple of reasons, though, and they're pretty obvious. One is
The hell?
that countries tend to become become more authoritarian in wartime. It's just the nature of war. People are dying.
This is
The
true.
stakes are high. People's emotions
True.
have
He's
risen
right.
to a
Yeah.
very high point, to a crescendo. And so there's much less tolerance for any kind of dissent in the homeland.
Yeah.
The irony, of course, is the United States fights wars on behalf of freedom, but there's a here in our country during war. So that's
Right.
a widely recognized phenomenon, and it's likely to happen now. So another point is that the USIC, the intelligence agency, spy on Americans. Now, you probably knew that, and it's been revealed a lot, including by
I think everybody knows that, of course.
Julian Assange and Ed
Yeah.
Snowden, both of whom are threatened with death for revealing it, but everyone knows.
Exclamation mark X cable.
Widespread than most people understand, and it's outrageous. There's no justification for your government, which you own, you're a shareholder, and you pay for it, to be violating your privacy like this.
So
Exclamation mark X stern.
the person that thinks that he's guilty.
Exclamation mark high stall.
And let me explain the reason why.
Ahoy. Captain Botrix is trying to get a crew together for a treasure hunt. Type heist amount to join.
That's specific to him. So, like, this is even what he did at the beginning, right? Where he's talking about, this is, talking to people. I'm talking to people before the war. And so, I don't know really, it's like, it's extremely bad. Yeah, reads extremely badly. Exactly. Like, I mean, again, I want to make this very, very clear.
Exclamation mark X Civ.
He's guilty. I'm not saying he leaked information to Iran, but if I just watched this and I watched it with a discerning eye, it would seem suspicious. That's it. It just seems suspicious. Wonder why the CIA would want to discredit him? But it's not the CIA that's trying to discredit him right now. It's him that's bringing this up himself. So the probability is like you could be like, okay, yeah, sure.
A crew of pirates and raiders check their flintlocks and sharpen their cutlasses as they disembark for Blackheart Island. Blackheart Island has taken another soul. Botrix was sent straight to Davy Jones's locker. Exclamation mark X siege.
Ahead of time of what's going on. So that way people will look at the generalities rather than the specifics. He's trying to get ahead of it, basically. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but it happens all the time. And in fact, one of the reasons
Exclamation mark audio.
people within the CIA, just to be clear, it's a huge
Exclamation mark X audio.
what it does in a specific case doesn't represent
Exclamation mark X stern.
Some people were mad at me for my views about Israel. And
They're mad at you for your views about Israel. This is another type of thing. So this is the type of comment that I get a lot. Why did you start shilling for Big Brother?
What?
Do you understand that the accusation is that he's just simply shilling for another brother? That's the accusation here. Like, this isn't like this isn't like a person, like, obviously Tucker Carlson can have whatever opinions that he wants, but don't you find this to be problematic? I don't even understand this. You really think Tucker would? I don't know what he would do. I don't know enough about Tucker Carlson to be sure of it. But I know that if they're going through his text messages, that might seem like something's problematic. And especially whenever he's saying it about
Exclamation mark X just.
like, I'm sorry, but like here, because I was talking to people in Iran, that sounds like I was talking to people in the government in Iran.
Yeah.
That's what he's really saying. Like, what do you think the probability is that the people that he's referencing to, that he's speaking to in Iran, are
He's a random
government
person.
officials?
Oh.
It's like 99%, I feel.
It's 0% that it's just a random person on the street.
Is that a crime? Well, that's what they're looking into it for, obviously.
Roast, joust.
Exclamation mark X just.
Talks to Iran, Fox News too. Yeah, so then why are they looking into him? Whenever CNN and Fox
Fox.
News are also critical of the Iran war. It's interesting. I wonder what was different. There's a lot of people on CNN that are critical of Israel.
they have some latitude. And
Exclamation
one
mark
of the
X
ways
audio.
that they pass on criminal complaints, in effect, to law enforcement is to justify
Exclamation mark X stern.
spying on Americans.
Yeah.
the media and then humiliate and terrify the subjects of this op.
Exclamation mark X rebel.
Yeah.
Many times, including in famously 2021 when I was still at Fox News and trying to set up an interview with Vladimir Putin, and the NSA, I heard from someone there, had grabbed my text messages with an American citizen and had leaked them to news outlets. Those texts were basically my attempts to set up an interview with the foreign head of state, and they leaked them to
Is there an
New York Times
E-R-R-E?
in order to stop the interview, which they successfully did, by the way, and they admitted that they were spying. I mean, this is not a fantasy, it actually happened.
Sure.
They did it again 2 years later, my second attempt to get a Putin interview. I managed to get it anyway, and they've done it since. And so when you get a call from a reporter who knows the contents of your texts, it's pretty clear something's going on.
Yeah, clearly.
None of this, in my judgment, as of right now, is a huge threat to me, so I'm not making this video to complain about it or whine or ask you to send me money because I'm under attack. I'm saying it because it's true, and you should know what your own government is doing, and you should know what the stakes are, and you should know.
I'm gonna be, maybe this is like a crazy thing for me to say, but with a high-profile figure that's spoken with the president and has like been in the White House, that's also talking to and interacting with the Iranian government,
E-R-R-E. Is there one? No.
To keep a closer
It's right
eye on
here.
that person.
Right here.
I think that's extremely
R.
reasonable, especially with so much intelligence and things like that. It's very reasonable. Like, what are we talking about? Duh. Of course.
Know that a lot of what happens in this country that affects outcomes happens behind the scenes. Some of it is legal, some of it is not.
But that kind of access, it's unreasonable? Yeah.
But it has an effect. And the intel agencies, again, not everyone in the intel agencies, because there are decent...
No, it's not per se.
The intel agencies are Americans, just like they're decent.
Exclamation mark X purse.
Somebody brought up a good point. That's how Epstein manifested, is that they didn't look into it. Or like they ignored it.
But there are also people with
This is actually tough
agendas and
stuff.
grudges and no sense of restraint who are happy to misuse the power they have granted them by our elaborate secrecy laws to hurt fellow Americans for ideological reasons. That is entirely real. That's the story of Russia.
Well,
Sure.
And it's
there's
likely
no
that
word
things
with
like
the
that
ER there that we
begin to
never got
happen
yet.
at greater scale now. So
And
you
he's
should just
implying that it might happen to him.
know that going forward. Thanks.
Well, again, I don't want to say I think he's guilty, because I think that's kind of unfair to say, like, I think he's guilty. But the way that he's framing this is very suspicious. And it makes it hard for me to trust him. It does. I'll tell you this, I don't...
Exclamation mark X verve.
Carlson, that he acted in good faith. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy. I'm not saying there's anything that he did wrong. But I am saying that, like, you know, with how close he was with the president, the fact that he was at the White House, the fact that he was involved in, and also talking to, you know, potentially members of the Iranian government, I can see why the CIA would want to look into that. And nobody really knows why this is happening, but I don't immediately trust Daddy government. Yeah, but why would you trust Daddy Tucker Carlson either? Like, the thing is that, like, everybody doesn't want to trust the government, but you're assuming that this random person that's a media personality is somehow...
Exclamation mark X verge.
No, you should really be more logical about this and think about it yourself. Like, I don't think that it's outside of the realm of possibility that Tucker Carlson could have leaked something. I don't think that's impossible for that to have happened. Now, do I think it's likely? I mean, probably not. Like, I think this is probably going to go nowhere. You know, I'm a nothing's ever happened shit, right? I've said this many times. Like, it probably is going to go nowhere. But it's something that's worth considering.
Exclamation mark X
So,
audio.
what is this here if I pull a few more of these comments here? And server repercussions entitled nonsensical. Yeah. So for years I served as chairman of the Board of Christian Ministry when I was one of the most viral underground church movements in Iran. Iran has been under U.S. sanctions for years.
Exclamation mark high stall.
To Iran from any form is severely restricted. If it is not done in strict compliance with the law, board members are liable for federal crimes and can easily face
Ahoy.
federal prison.
Captain Botrix is trying to get a crew together for a treasure hunt. Type heist amount to join. Exclamation mark he stall. Exclamation mark high stall.
Journalists know that there are laws that they must all abide by. Everyone has to obey the law, even the rich, naughty, and
Ahoy. At Hate Hose here has joined the treasure hunt.
guilty for crimes against the United
Exclamation mark high stall. Exclamation mark X clamp.
Here's what appears to be happening. Oh, there's a second video. Let me see.
Sure.
Oh, this is the first one. Let me see this one here.
And that wasn't a risk.
Exclamation mark X stern.
This is his second video. I don't know what the context of this is. That's why I'm watching it.
That was the point. They wanted to diminish the Gulf, and in 2 days they have. And I think anyone.
Lol, First Amendment unless he leaked. I mean, isn't that what everybody thinks? Like, I feel like we all agree on that, right? Like, lol, First Amendment unless he leaks.
A crew of pirates and raiders check their flintlocks and sharpen their cutlasses as they disembark for Black Heart Island. Ho ho. The entire crew escaped Black Heart Island alive. They celebrate with a chest full of gold and a belly full of rum. Results. Hatos here. 109,899,999,989. Botrix. 1,999,999,899.
By far. They're our friends. But they've been really hurt. And the place like Dubai is basically part of it.
Dubai is north for the Middle East.
Within the United Arab Emirates, but it's also it's a luxury brand,
Yes.
basically. Go to Dubai because it's beautiful and rich and
Yes.
and all things safe and
It
orderly.
is. What?
That's the busiest airport in the world. You start seeing video on Instagram of smoke in the Dubai airport, and you're like, I think I'm going to Cabo this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, from the hotels. Whatever. Maybe you go to Sedona this
Yeah,
year.
sure.
It really, really hurts these countries, and Israel wanted to hurt these countries. That's the point. Wanted
Well,
to
Israel did. I thought Iran bombed them.
wanted to sow chaos and disorder because they are rivals of Israel. So it was probably not
I
hasn't
thought
been reported,
Iran
but it's
flew
fact.
drones in
Last night in Qatar and Saudi Arabia, authorities arrested Mossad agents planning on committing bombings in those countries. Now,
Didn't Qatar come out and refute this? I thought they did. Like it was like some other country that like came out and refuted this and said that they were actually Iranian.
that's weird. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. Why would these?
They did. They said it was with Iran. Yeah. So this turned out to not be true, and he even got corrected by the government of that country.
Israelis be
Qatar,
committing bombings in two Gulf countries, which are also being attacked by Iran. Aren't they on the same side?
And also, like, that's another logical jump, right? Where, like, you're going from the Israeli spies being there to the Israelis did the bombing. Like, obviously, like, you can make that assumption, but, like, that is a logical jump that needs evidence that was not presented there. It was just a guess.
No. No. Israel wants to hurt Iran
Yeah.
and Qatar and UAE and Saudi and Bahrain and Oman
Yeah.
and Kuwait. And they've succeeded.
Man, that's crazy, isn't it? And I don't even know what to say. And Tucker's a spy for Iran. I don't know if he is or not. I really don't. But I think that there's something that's very suspicious here. Anyway, here's what appears to be happening. And again, this is very, very leading, right? Former IDF sergeant, okay? So just keep that in mind. Tucker Carlson has allegedly been conducting his own foreign policy with Iran on behalf of the United States. At some point, the CIA got wind of this and informed President Trump, who may have used Tucker as an unwitting counterintelligence asset to feed faulty information to Iran. Following the launch of Epic Fury, Tucker's traitorous behavior may have finally caught up with them, and as the DOJ reportedly prepares a criminal complaint against them based on CIA intelligence. So, bonus, an example of Tucker likely parroting Iranian regime propaganda. So, there's another one here. Tuck may have just pulled it. Yeah, this is it. So, there's a chance that if the CIA knew that he was talking to the Iranians, then President Trump would have known that also. When he invited Tucker into the Oval Office,
They're not called fucking Iranians.
for the strike, which means that Trump may have used Tucker to deceive the Iranians about the likelihood of an impending. I wonder if that's true. Oh my God! Wow. Trump's not smart enough for that. Are you still one of those people that thinks that he's stupid? So this big.
There's a lot of people that really think he's stupid.
Retard just seems to win every single outcome that
Yeah,
he
everything he
does
ever
it all,
does.
right?
What an
He's
idiot.
dumb as fuck. He is not dumb.
He must be really
This
dumb.
guy is not dumb. You're wrong about Trump. I think that this is my outlook, okay? The amount of positive outcomes Trump has created for himself,
Where do I throw my keys?
I don't think is a coincidence.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it's because he's obviously very intelligent and competent. I think that's exactly what's going on. And I think people that don't believe that are coping. And they are coping hardcore. Massively coping. And he might be smart. Yeah, he's a dumb, smart president. Just because he talks like a certain way or anything else, it's easy to win the president. Being the wealthiest country, look at the EU backing now. You showed videos of France worshipped yesterday. Well, that's good, right? I mean, obviously you want to have France come help. Like that's, I think that's a good thing. But anyway, we will look at the rest of these too, because it's just been. I think this is going to continue, right? A little bit more. Trump falls into the victory every single time. Yeah, like it's crazy that like this guy who's like just so stupid just accidentally became a billionaire and won the presidential election 2 times, and was able to like capture Maduro, and we did all this other stuff, and yeah, I think it's just I'm sure these are all just a huge line of coincidences, right? And 3 times. Sorry, brother. I forgot we can say that now. Yeah, 3 times. So true. Anyway, Trump, yeah, they might have used Trump to deceive. On January 17th, I called a friend of mine at the White House to express concerns about Tucker Carlson visiting the Oval Office. She answered rather cryptically, just trust the plan. Little did I know the plan meant we know Tucker speaking to the Iranians who were using him as a useful idiot to bait the Ayatollah and kill off the IRGC leadership. Oh, and then we'll arrest him for espionage when this is all over. I don't believe that, man. I don't. I think that is like, again, that is like a very, very high level of operation. I don't know if that's true or not. Secretly communicating with the enemy of the United States during an active war conflict makes you a traitor in my book.
No doubt. Well, the CIA got him. Be back. Yo.